Oh yeah, check that out. Today, we're cooking this brisket on the Oklahoma Joe's Longhorn reverse flow. Let's go. All right, so today we're cooking on the Oklahoma Joe Longhorn reverse flow, and we're gonna be running with some pecan wood. I've already got the brisket on and it's all fired up. We're gonna be running around 200, 225 to start off. But now we're gonna go ahead and get all of our fat trimmings, get those on the smoker. That way we can render this fat down to some nice tallow for the wrap later. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let this run 200 to 225 for several hours, and then we're gonna slowly start bringing the temp up. We're gonna wrap this brisket once the bark is perfectly set and the fat is rendered, then we're gonna finish it off, and then we get to let it rest, slice it up, and eat. This is gonna be a great cook. Stick around, and if you haven't liked and subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that right now. Now's a great time to do that, and let's get back into this cook. All right, so many of you know that I love my Inkbird thermometers. It's just awesome, and as you can see, the reason why is on the left side here we're running 250, and then over here on the right side we're running 225, but really down here on the bottom we're running, you know, that 200 to 215 left or right. And so it's very important that we know what our meat is cooking at down at the grate level. If we go by those top thermometers and we're try to get those down to the 200, 225 range, we're really gonna be cooking down like at 175, and that's just not what we want. We want that 200 temperature to 225. And so it's important, go ahead and get you some external probes, monitor your temperatures, And Inkbird has actually just released a brand new one. I will be doing a video on that very soon, an unboxing, then a little bit of a review and showing off what this new thermometer holds, and it is going to be awesome. Like, I have loved this. I've had this for at least 2 years, maybe longer, and it has been rock solid the entire time. Absolutely love it. And so again, know what you're cooking at down at the grate level. I mean, once you know your temperatures, like I know now that the top thermometers are hotter and how much hotter they read, so I can adjust to know exactly what my grate level is going to be about. Then I don't have to pull this out every time, because I know just back that off however many degrees it needs to be, and boom, cooking good. But to know that, you're going to need something like that those external probes to know exactly what that is, so that you can hit that number and be rock solid the entire cook. It's time for me to go ahead and check on the wood splits in the fire. Let's go check it out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check the fire. I've been trying to purposely let these coals kind of die down a little, because I had been running a little hotter than I wanted. So I'm gonna kind of lower the amount of coals that I have in here, and I think we're good now to go ahead and get a split on the fire. We'll let that catch fire, then we'll let the lid shut down. All right, it's been about 3 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brisket and see how it's looking. It's looking good. The bark is starting to set. The fat is still really tough. It's what is expected at this point, but it's looking good. Our fat is rendering down over here, making some liquid gold. Things looking good. Let's get this lid shut down. All right, so we've been running at 200, or actually right around the 225. It's got as low as 200, and it's got up to about 240-ish. And so it's staying right in that range, but mostly it's sitting right around that 225 mark. I can't look at the temperature on the probes right now because I just shut the lid. But it's running really well. The pecan smells wonderful. I love pecan on food. It's a great smoky flavor, but it's just not too much. It's not too smoky. It's right where I like it, and it's running really clean, as you can tell. So we're just going to continue rolling and get through this cook, and eventually we'll get to eat some brisket. Thing with brisket is it's a very long cook. You have to be very patient. Can't rush it, let it take its time. That way it's super delicious when it's all done. All right, so today is a good day because I'm firing up all 3 of the pits. I've got the Oklahoma Joe's Ryder DLX 900 running some jalapeno poppers. I've got the Oklahoma Joe's Longhorn, like we've been seeing, doing the brisket. And over here I've got the Oklahoma Joe's Bronco, about to do some burgers for tonight. It's a great day just to be smoking and grilling, enjoying the time with family, and it's just loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's a great day. I hope you had a great Memorial Day also, and we'll get back into this cook here. All right, so if you're wondering what the rock is on the smoker, my lid's a little warped and it doesn't shut all the way. So that just kind of holds it down and does its job. I mean, it still works great. I probably should reach out to Oklahoma Joe's and get a new lid. But in the meantime, just gonna continue to use that rock. So that's what that's for. If you see it, you're like, why has he got a rock on his lid? That's why. Let's take a look at these jalapeno poppers. They've been going for just a little bit, not too long. I can't wait to eat them though. They're gonna be super tasty, looking good. All right, let's check on the jalapenos again. Oh yeah, those are looking really good. So we're gonna go ahead and season these burgers. We season these burgers up with some Suckle Busters SPG hot. Throw a little bit of this on there. And you thought you were just getting a brisket video. We're just throwing in all the Memorial Day fun. All right, let's get that lid shut down. Got a little darker than I wanted, but it'd be all right. Oh yeah, check it out. All right, we are 5 hours into the cook. That's how it's looking. It's looking really good. Internal temp is showing about 167 right now. We have been cooking more in the 225 to 250 range for about the last hour and a half. There's our fat. Tallow's rendering down. We're about to have to get that off so we can strain all of that and have some of that liquid gold ready to go in our wrap. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this lid shut back down and continue cooking. Actually, I'm gonna check one more thing and see how our fat is filling. It's still really bouncy, except for down in the point. It's starting to get a little soft. But we're gonna go ahead and let it just continue to cook. And we're gonna get that tallow pulled off here in a second and strain that, like I said, and just keep on going. By the way, we just finished those burgers. with the SPG hot. They were crazy good. I could taste the spice in them, so it was a little spicy, not too spicy. It was just right. I enjoyed it. SPG hot, Suckle Busters. Give this a shot. It's good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get the tallow pulled off. I've got my jar and a paper towel sitting here. We're just gonna slowly pour it in. Ooh, slowly pour it in. Let it drain. Got some on my smoker. Gonna have to clean that off. Liquid gold right here. This stuff is amazing. There we go. All right, now we'll go ahead and clean up our mess. That paper towel pulled out. Let it finish draining off. There we go. Uh-oh, there we go. Some liquid gold. All right, so we're 7.5 hours in and it's nighttime now. The flat is at 181. The smoker's been running about 225, 250, and still going pretty good. The point is running a little behind, so I rotated the brisket earlier so that the flat could catch up with the point. As far as the way the bark was forming, the point was starting to get darker than the flat was, so I spun them around. And now the flat, of course, is at that 181 and the point is at like 165, I think. And so I went ahead and flipped them back around again. And now we're gonna try to let that point catch up with the flat. And we're not pulling until I can put my finger in that fat and it's rendered really well. As long as it's bouncing back, it's staying just like it is because we want that fat rendered. That is key to having a great brisket, is the fat being rendered. You can have a nice juicy brisket and it can be great, but if you get tough, nasty fat in your bite, it's just not good. You want that to melt in your mouth like butter, and that's what we're going for. That's what I'm striving for. Hopefully that's what I do. We'll find out here in just a little bit. It's currently 10 o'clock at night. I figured this thing will probably be done between 12 and 2. Not really sure. It depends on how fast it goes. But we're just going to keep on trucking along. All right, so the fire, after about 5 hours, the coals just weren't, there wasn't enough coal bed in there to fuel the fire when I set on a new log. So what I went ahead and did is I added several kind of shorter logs on there. I wish I would have videoed it, but I didn't. I was also cooking burgers and jalapeno poppers, and everything was just kind of back and forth. So what I did is I got a couple shorter logs and I got in there and got those all lit up. I just left the lid open and let that flame start ripping, and broke that back down into coals, and then added another log once those all broke down and continued to cooking that away. It probably did slow me down a little bit, but I needed to build that cold bed back up again. So that's what I did. Cook's going really good, and we'll take a look at the brisket here in just a second, show you where it's at. All right, there it is. That's the point right in there. And there's the flat. It's all looking good. It's forming nicely. Just needs to keep on rendering. So that's what we're doing. Let's get that lid shut back down so we manage those temps. All right, so it's been 10 hours now, and the internal temperature has balanced out all the way across. It is sitting right around the 190, 192, somewhere in there. And it is The smoker's been rocking at around the 235 to 250 range, and that's what I've been trying to push, is the 235, 250. I'm gonna go ahead and check the fat real quick and see if it is ready to wrap. All right, so giving it some poke, and that is starting to give way. Ooh, especially down there in the point. That is starting to get that sticky texture. Still getting some bounce back. It's not exactly where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to render down this fat before I go ahead and wrap. Again, it's in the 190s, 192. I figured I would be wrapping around 185, but it is what it is. All right, so maybe the fat's not rendering down like I figured it was, and I'd be wrapping around the 185 because maybe I didn't wrap, or I'm sorry, maybe I didn't trim the fat off enough. I thought I got down to that 1/4 of an inch. Maybe I didn't. It's been a while since I've smoked a brisket. It's been a while since I've trimmed a brisket, and maybe I just didn't get that fat trimmed down. I don't know. I guess we're gonna see. We're gonna find out how this brisket turns out in the end. Hang tight. I'm going to go ahead. As you can tell, I've changed, and I've already showered because I was like soaked in the smoke smell. Couldn't take it anymore. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to continue this. I'm going to get it wrapped up, and then when I pull this thing off and I get it in the warmer, I'm going to let it probably be in the warmer for at least 12 hours, and just holding that temp at 145. Once I pull it out of that warmer pull it out of the warmer and I slice it up, I'll let you know exactly how long it took until the wrap, what the internal temperature was when I wrapped, all of that information at that point. But for now, I'm just gonna try to focus on getting this brisket done and less on the camera work, get this thing ready to eat tomorrow night. Feeling tender, but not super tender. That fat is definitely starting to get to where we want it. All right, it's the next day and the brisket is all done. It has been resting for 17 hours in my warmer at 145, 150-ish is where that warmer's been sitting. Now all we gotta do is unwrap this and cut into it. Let's get a bite. Now, I told you I would let you know what I did as far as when I pulled it, and I pulled it at around 11.5 hours is when it was finally done and ready to pull, and the internal temps were about 199, and because this is going to be such a long hold, I went ahead and pulled it. It wasn't fully tender like if you were to pull it and then just throw it in a cooler for a few hours and pull it out and then slice it up. You would take it further than that, but because I was holding it so long, I went ahead and pulled it a little early, and I think that this is going to be a very good brisket. I am a little concerned about the fat render like we've talked about, but let's get this thing opened up. I have no idea what this looks like. I haven't looked at it since I wrapped it. There it is. Look at that. Oh, it smells so good. All right, that is a really pretty brisket. The fat, not perfect. Take some of this leftover Get it on the board. All right, let's get a slice into this. Here we go. Ooh, looks pretty good. And look at that, right there. Looking very nice. Let's go ahead and get the tallow on the ends, keep it from oxidizing. And then just go ahead and slice a few of these off. Tip of the flat, set that there. Fat's not as rendered as I would like, but it looks good. Let's go ahead and see if it pulls apart really nicely. Let's go ahead and taste it. If there's gonna be a dry piece, it's gonna be this one right here. It's the end of the brisket. Oh my, that is so good. So good. Again, I would like to have that fat a little more rendered. That is crazy good. Let's go ahead and get a piece of the flat down closer to where the point is. There it is. Pulls apart real nicely. Nice and easy. Let's get a bite. Oh man, I just realized that in this entire video, I never once told you what I seasoned this with, and I used Sucklebuster's 1836. So good. You gotta try the 1836. I use it all the time on all kinds of things. So very good. All right, I'll set that to the side. Go ahead and get some more tallow on that. There we go. All right, now for the point. Let's go ahead and cut this off right here. That is burnt in. Let's get a bite of a burnt in. There you go, look at that. Bite of the point. So good. Wow. That's all I can say. This is a great brisket. Could the fat be rendered more? Yes. But really, I think that's the only negative that I've got, is that fat could be rendered a little more. Everything else is just so good. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, get outside, and make some crazy good barbecue. Now you can taste.